Okay. Yeah, the presentation professor, PhD student from NTNU. The purpose of this paper is fairly straightforward. It's the observation that BIM has been implemented for a very long time. BIM is a digital technology, and there are loads of different digital technologies in the pipeline. So do we need to wait 20 years of trial and error and implementation for all of those digital technologies? Or is there another way of doing it, maybe a general principle that will help implementation of all? And then, what's next for this conference? Please get in contact with us if you're interested in regenerative information management, etc.
Yes. Then I can continue with the paper in a nutshell. This is a paper who is placed in the innovation section, so be aware of that. So that's why we have the way of thinking. We take the inspiration from a regenerative agriculture, but we synthesize it for the underlying management principles of regenerative agriculture. And we adapt this to the AC industry with specific use of reuse of data. So the topic is actually before what we want to explore the mindset for reuse of data. So it's not about agriculture, it's about data management.
But we pick from agriculture, regenerative agriculture. And this is a pretty cool example. It's the national grid operator in Norway. They have high voltage grid all over the country, but for obvious reasons you need to maintain the growth under the high voltage grid, and for this they tried a project where they used goats to eat down the vegetation. But they use a pretty cool technology. The goats were equipped with a collar around their neck, and this collar has a cattle prod, which can give zap the goats, essentially. It also has a speaker, so it will give the goats a warning that if you continue going further now, you'll get zapped. But it also has a GPS mobile SIM card in it, and the operator can sit on their computer in their web browser and basically draw up a virtual fence, and the goat is forced and eventually learn to keep within that area. But the pretty cool thing about regenerative agriculture is that when you analyze the results, it usually tends to be a positive contribution to the triple bottom line. In the case of this goat example, but in many others also, you save money, or at least you have the potential to save money. You save nature, and you have positive contributions to the social benefits. And for those who are familiar with donut economics, the results tend to stay within the light green area of the donut, which is pretty great. But just to get a feel for regenerative agriculture without going into too much detail, there isn't any sort of fixed definition of what it is. It's basically a mixture of either things you do, or it's the outcome of things you do. And you can go into detail to that, but not in this presentation. But the general gist is, in traditional, or the agriculture we're used to, you have lots of machinery, lots of use of inputs, monocrop, whilst in regenerative agriculture, there's an emphasis on diversity, multiple use, enterprise stacking, so that's many activities on top of each other, and virtuous cycles. And just to finish off the example, you could envision a silvopasture example where you have nut trees, but then you have cows grazing amongst the nut trees. The cows, they trample grass into the ground, increasing the carbon content, which increases resilience of the earth, and also puts nutrition or fertilizer into the ground. We could go into much more detail, but the key thing is it's kind of a holistic way of viewing agriculture.
Yeah.
So
you can take that, and also foresee, starting with a simple question: when has information value? I don't foresee think that we'll get huge responsibles, but then it will be a lot of discussion. So I go to the answer from my point of view. It's when it's shared. Only then it's getting value. And I do think that when you come to the next question, when has information increased value? And then is, of course, when it's shared again and again and again. And why do we take this goat into here? Because it's not about goats. It's about the communication with the goats. We are sending them information and they are responding on it, and we can choose where they should get this response. And this is also to do with the information management approach, and that's why we have the reuse of information bits as an element. We are reusing it, and also have the ISO 19650 perspectives, where you see you have the perspective, but you have the purposes. And there you also see when you combine it, you can reuse information in multiple stages. So that is a mindset for it. So I do think that with that in mind, we can also see more on the value of communication with the goats. And it's not much communication, but there is communication, because you can send, as Anders presented, a message to the goat. You can go in that direction. Okay, that's no sound, and that's nice, but if I go in that direction, there comes some sound, and I going further, then I get the bit, and okay, that was not the right way to go, I can go here. And then you can also communicate with it by setting out, this is the border there and there, and then you can have it by reuse of the asset called land, and this is also about asset management. And we see in the simple one that, yes, we have this area that we want to reuse for multiple purposes, because when it's have low vegetation, you can use it for thing. You have also the cultural element, but you can also see that when you take it further on, you see that the use of innovation, of course, covers all three sustainability perspectives, but it also has the primary level. Yes, you want no trees there, and you foresee use on landscaping, and this is as an environmental impact, but you can also go further, that this is also for meat production, this is for the sustainable food production, and also this is for the social side, because you want the land to be used for multiple purposes. And I do think that that is the key element, that we have multiple users of the same information. That's the mind thinking. And you can also go into more, we'll see, applied element about digital product passport. You see here that, yes, you have the product sheet. Yes, that's nice to have. When you're buying a product, you need to have it. But then you are in a very single user mind. And that's why we do think that the regenerative management perspective, where you should reuse the asset. In this case, information, you see that, yes, you have the digital product passport in a way that it can be further used, but then also it can identify the producer or product components. You also see that it can be useful for others, where you have it from, and so on. And we stop after 5, but it can be multiple. So this is the concept, that you share information with others and can use it for different type of purposes. And then you also see that you are covering more and more. You are starting with the financial stuff, but then you also see that this as an social aspect, of knowing which person can use those type of tools with these types of material. And this is based on reuse of the information in the passport. So that is the mindset about asset management with focus on data.
Yeah. So just to conclude, data is only valuable when it's shared, and the regenerative agriculture principle is the increase of utilization of the medium where value creation happens. The soil, the land in the goat example, data in the AAC example. So increasing utilization of both the users and purposes for that data. The point about regenerative agriculture, it is a different mindset, and it has various different applications in our industry. And to our knowledge, it's a principle that is not so much explored in the AEC. And if anyone is interested in further discussing regenerative agriculture principles, data, regenerative data management, please contact us. Yeah, thank you.